question everything, bro. And I feel like this is something that was sitting on me because I just took a 4 hour nap, bro. It's like 12 o'clock right now, almost 1. And I came to this realization that there's so much shit out here that we've been lied to about, bro. And when you start to know that, it just makes you see everything different, and like your whole brain is just like getting rewired, bro. You feel me? Like, and I always like to use this as an example. Like when I was going to school, something about school it never sit right with me for a lot of reasons, but and I was the rebel. You feel me? I was always questioning, challenging teachers. They didn't like that shit. But one thing that stood out to me was when I was told, um, when I found out that Christopher Columbus didn't discover America. Like, I don't know what age I was. I was young, but I remember learning that shit. And then the internet was new. Like, it was dial up when you had to wait for that. It was some noise. Like, listen, if you know, you know. But, and I was looking that shit up, and I was like, oh shit. And I just looked that simple up. I went a little deep, but I didn't go too deep at that time. And I was just like, that confirmed everything I felt intuitively. Even if I didn't know how to communicate that like I do now, consciously and or subconsciously. Well, I felt that subconsciously. I didn't know how to quite communicate that yet, or I didn't know where my headspace was at, like how I do now. And that shit changed a lot of my whole. It shifted my whole paradigm. You feel me? Like I saw everything a lot different, and I was, um, so I before I used to like. I don't want to say fantasize. I don't feel like that's the right word, but I used to always believe in like aliens, for lack of better words. You feel me? Like supernatural shit. Like if I show y'all my like history, like if I was able to pull up my past history on like all those videos I was watching when I was young, you would just see top 10 UFO sightings, Bigfoot sightings. Like you would see all this shit, and then me trying to find like definitive proof of these things, like looking at different articles. Like I was just so fascinated with it because, especially like at that age, there wasn't much information on it, and I always no, at that time I always felt that there's something more to this world, that we can't be the only ones. You feel me? Like, and I also, and there was a time where I learned that, um, I was learning about like how people at the time, they were saying that we're all one collective consciousness, and people are starting to realize that now. But at the time, like all this stuff was new. You know what I'm saying? So like, when I was learning that, and people were just like, well, and I was reading things, and it was just like how there's no, well, scientists at the time, they weren't saying that, but they were explaining how there's no original thought. And then when I thought about that, I was like, damn, because we're connected. I think scientists call it the quantum realm, but spiritual people, we call it, the astral realm, and different things. People call it different shit. But just basically that out of body experience that people refer to, like when you astral projecting and stuff like that. But I'm saying all of this to say that there's so much shit that was hidden from us that you can't. And what sparked this conversation was I was talking to one of my friends at work. Shout out to you, bro. My boy Jay. And we was having a conversation, and we were just talking about a whole bunch of different shit. But it sparked this thought in my head, and it just reminded me that you can't. Especially if I'm Puerto Rican and black, right? Especially if you're black, or how they like to classify us, because I don't even like saying that word anymore. But there's so much we don't know, and our image is so correlated with this, like with white supremacy and race and all that. And my whole thing is that start to ask yourself why. You feel me? Since I was younger, I'd always ask why. Like I was always curious. I always had this thirst for knowledge because one, I knew that they were lying, and two, I always believed in there's this that there's a higher source, like there's something else. I never bought into God. I hated school. I never bought into that concept of there's a white man coming to save me. Like never, you feel me? If you feel away, that's on you. I'm not saying this to, you have your beliefs, I have mine, but even when I was in school, you feel me? I had to force my grandmother to not let me go to Sunday school, bro, and Saturday school and all that. But that's another topic. But I'm saying like we're so rooted in these systems that in a separation that it's hard for us to distinguish ourselves in any way. And when you start to ask yourself like why, like it's deeper than slavery. You know what I'm saying? Like even a simple concept of like I saw people mentioning that we've never seen a slave ship, and then I thought back, I'm like facts. Like just having that independent thought, like yo, damn, like you right. Like everything I've seen have been drawings. Like there's no legitimate fact. And then the more I've been learning, it's just like starting to realize this world has been what I've kind of already figured is that this world, this planet, consciousness has been around way longer than they're telling us, bro. And that's a fact. You feel me? Just based off the information I've seen, people explaining like the old tablets and stuff like that, or even how all these Bibles connect and shit like that, and all the synchronicities, because I'm not gonna say coincidences because now it's too much. Like it's just synchronicities across the whole board, and it just brings me back to like this idea of like we need to be more knowledge seeking, and then you see if we know this world is set up on a basic level, right? I would assume that we all have some understanding that this world is built in capitalism. What is that? To make money, right? We know America is a literal corporation. So if the concept is let's get as much of this as we can and let's keep as much of it with us and not with them, what do you think they're gonna do? They're gonna use every tactic is a distraction. You feel me? That's outside of yourself. So as much as I hate to admit it, playing video games, your favorite sport, you feel me? They got something for everybody. You know what I'm saying? And it's not that you can't be successful or you can't have a life outside of these things, or you feel me that you should never indulge in any of these things or like that. But the premise of these things are to distract us with things outside of ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So whether you're doing like drugs or alcohol, even food is a drug at this point. You get what I'm saying? The toxins they put in our food, simple things like a lot of our fruits have wax on it because they have natural waxes. Apples specifically, they have a natural wax. They literally, I don't know what their process is exactly verbatim, but I think they wash it and then they put this wax plasticky thing on. That's like if you ever bit it and you ever notice that, or if you ever just look up like a natural apple and then like even though most of our fruits is GMO, like everything's GMO, but look up like a more natural apple, without pesticides and all of that. Look at the size difference, and then look at a regular apple, or even look at bananas. Like if y'all never peep bananas, like bro, I remember learning this, like some of the simplest thing, like bananas are man-made, and I was like, what? Like bananas are man-made? You feel me? That shit didn't make no sense to me. Broccoli is man-made. You get what I'm saying? Because most of our vegetation was destroyed, and it didn't look how it looks now. Like, and then I looked up. Somebody mentioned, I forgot, either somebody I know on like on TikTok. They mentioned like looking up how bananas actually look, and then I looked that shit up, and I was like, damn, like it looks completely different, bro, from what a banana is today. It's not this long ass shit poles, bro. Like they were like this small, and when you cut into them, they kind of look like a hybrid of like passion fruit and like what else I'm trying to say? Damn, that fruit is slipping my mind. But it's so different. And when you start to align all these things and you start to question all these things and you start to ask yourself why, you start getting closer to the root cause, because they destroyed most of our history and they own most of it as well. You feel me? Whether it be in the Vatican, and these are facts. I'm not telling you this shit off the top of my dome. These are facts. You can look it up. And even if you need any proof, I don't know if you're gonna be able to find it, but when Hillary, when son, I don't know if saying her name gonna block the shit, but when H. Clinton, you feel me, she got her emails leaked, bro, that was like a goal. For me, that was like the best thing I've ever received in my life. You get what I'm saying? It sounds weird. Like think of like the best present you've gotten, or the best thing somebody giving you. That was like the best thing I could have ever gotten, bro. and I went through it. It was hard to find because I didn't know until like I forgot, I saw it posted somewhere, and then I was like, word? And then I went and I was trying to find as much as I can, and I found that they started removing it because I tried to look for it a while ago and talk about it, but they started removing a lot of that shit. But to get back on track, her emails was wild. That's when you start to see the reference of like Pizzagate and all that stuff like that. And then what I would encourage y'all to do is when y'all hear something, don't just take it. Even if it's from me, like don't just take it. Like that whole shit that happened with Pizzagate and the shit that I was reading, start to look at, okay, they're saying this, right? Try to find proof now. So I'm pretty sure at this point there's a montage now of all these celebrities talking about it. And even when you watch movies now, like I watch movies completely than what I used to before. But it's literally, I know you hear it all the time, but it's literally in our face. And you know it because when you're watching it from an objective lens, you can see like they put it in plain sight and it never makes sense. Like I just seen Avatar 2 and they said something, they I ain't gonna spoil it, but they showed something and they said something and I'm like, oh, this is that. This is what y'all talking about. And then it was so out of pocket of the movie, and you know it was because when a person said what they said and they showed what they showed, it was like a pause, nobody else was talking, and then it just continued back to regular conversation they was having. It was like this out of pocket experience, and I've noticed that with a lot of movies, and I started noticing that a while ago. You feel me? I'd say when I really moved to LA and shit like that, I really started seeing these movies different. I started seeing them for what it was and what the intention is behind, and like what they're trying to tell us. You get what I'm saying? So I know I'm all over the place, but I'm always having these conversations with myself, and I'm getting better at being able to articulate it. Because even before I came on camera, like I just be having these deep ass conversations with myself. You feel me? Like about everything, like something to just trigger it, and I'm just talking. You feel me? So I'm like, let me see how other people feel, but it's so much that I just want to, I, I desire for y'all to have, for everyone to have this deep, like, open mindedness. You feel me? Because everybody can say they're open minded, but I feel like if you are diminishing somebody else's beliefs, or you are quick to dismiss somebody else's beliefs because of what you believe, then that's not true open mindedness. You feel me? Everything somebody tells me, I'm not gonna believe it verbatim, but I'm gonna take in what resonates. Or if they make some great points, I'm gonna fact check those myself. You get what I'm saying? And I feel like everybody should do the same. Like don't just go to your first resource, and don't also. It's listen. It's a. I don't want to say that like it's a complicated, but it's an interesting situation we're in because yes, Google and all these things are great resources, but even those are capped. You get what I'm saying? Like everything you see on Google, they all the same. They all the same people, bro. All these people are connected the same. And when I say they, I mean the oppressors. The elite families. These 13 elite families. That's been around. That's been controlling shit. It's all connected. You feel me? Like they're all connected. They all talk to each other. It's the same reason why everybody's like, yo, why these celebrities? They're not talking about the sex trafficking because they're scared. You feel me? Like, and I used to I was on that shit like, you're not speaking up. Like, you feel me? Like, this is some, but then you start watching videos and you start seeing shit that just don't make sense. Like, or like, well, it may, you let me not even say it don't make sense. You start seeing videos and you start to get a deeper understanding that a lot of them is in on it too. Whether it's by choice or not, that might just be the industry. But then you start to learning about the English language and how it's spellcasting and like all this shit is spelled. Like it's a lot of shit that I used to say that I don't say no more, bro. And yes, my life has changed since I've been more intentional about the words, because I've always been a person that intention is big. You feel me? But I don't have that deeper understanding that I do now of intentions like I thought I did back then. Do you get what I'm saying? Like my whole outlook on just that simple word is different now. You feel me? Like I think in everything I know now in everything you do, you need to have this deep, like I'm not gonna say deep understanding, but you need to be intentional about everything you do, bro. And it's hard because you gotta train yourself, but when you start practicing it, it's easy to it'll start to trickle in everything you do, and you'll start to see people for who they are a lot easier. You feel me? Like I have a great discernment. I always tell people I'm a great reader of people. I can know who you are in a brief conversation. Like it could be 2 seconds, or I could just be a person observing, and I can have a good idea of who you are. You get what I'm saying? Like I won't be able to break like, oh, you know, your story and shit, but as far as your tendencies and what your intent is, that's the word I'm looking for. And what your intent is, it's not hard to break that down. People would love to tell you who they are. Just listen. You feel me? But that's a whole nother shit. Like getting back to I'm all over the place, bro. But listen, I don't care, bro. Like this is something that I love to do just with myself in general, and I'm sure there's other people out here that have these conversations or these deep thoughts, and you feel me? You just wanna get that shit out, share it with people that might enjoy these conversations as well. You know, building a community that enjoy these conversations and that are trying to learn the truth, because that's what my whole life has been based on, bro. Like I've always said that I wanted to know the truth about life, but now I know that my question is different now. It's not necessarily that I need to know the truth about everything, because I don't. That's not something you feel me. You can't. We're just a piece in this huge ass universe and the multiverse. You know, it gets even deeper than that. Like as far as like when you start to realize how much life is out there, you feel me, based off what has been left behind and what you see, like whether it be on ancient like it be on ancient tablets or depicted in like Egyptian like murals or pictures. I don't know if murals is like the right word. I feel like it's the right word. But you know, paintings and stuff like that, and you start to see synchronicities between different religions, like, and that the truth was put in all these books, but it was worded different, and then that some people had different aliases, and you only know that when you start seeing, like, when you start asking yourself simple questions like, oh, who is Prometheus? And then they say, oh, this is that, and then you find another article that says, oh, Prometheus also aliases. They went by this, and that. You're like, wait, isn't this that person? Isn't that this person? And then you're like, oh shit. And then you start to realize, bro, a lot of our history we've seen. Think about it, bro. Especially if you're a visualization person like me. A lot of that shit has been drawings, like most of it. Even let's talk. Matter of fact, let's talk about this, bro. As much as everybody, people, there's always gonna be somebody in the comments. I don't really care, but what I try to explain to us people is like we've never seen a real picture of the Earth. You feel me? Like we've never seen one. You can't tell me you've seen one unless you like up there in the ranks. You ain't never seen a real picture. You don't even know what this shit look like. You feel me? And then start asking yourself like, why we can't go to Antarctica? Like why we can't go over there? Then you start doing research on like what's in Antarctica, what have people seen, what have people reported. You feel me? Look up Emerald Bird, bro. His story is really good. I believe he has a book as well about how he went to Antarctica and found Hollow Earth. When I was younger, I was still to this day, but like that was something I was obsessed with because I don't know, it was something about it that resonated. And then I saw a movie, I believe from the same, I don't know the company or the dude's name. He just passed away though, but he made one of my favorite anime movies of all time, Spirited Away. His what I'm trying to say, his company made a movie called I believe Hallow Earth or something like that. I saw it on Netflix. Like one day I was just like, what do they have? They had like 2 movies. I saw that movie, and then I've done prior to me seeing that movie, I've done so much research on like Hollow Earth and Inner Earth, and it's just like, bro, it's too much synchronicities, too much stories, and then I just saw like, well, if those are real or not, is I don't want to say it's hard to say because you niggas wasn't really photoshopping back then. But I also saw pictures, bro, of like recently that came out or that I've seen recently of like all these like ancient civilizations that live within the earth and like how the trees look, how they look. And I think what we, for a good reason, we've been conditioned, well, not on our part, but they've conditioned us to think that aliens just look like this, like they just look like that bobble, you know. But nah, a lot of it is humanoid. Because you got to think, bro, if whether you believe it or not, this world stemmed. It came. I would assume it started with nothing, right? You know, everybody say that, or they say Big Bang, whatever. This world started from nothing. This world was created by a black woman, right? So if you think that everything was created from a black woman, we have a piece of us in everything. So when they talk in the Bible like God created us in His image, first of all they're talking about the Caucasians, but every everybody's gonna when you let me backtrack. A lot of like people that have worked in the military and stuff like that, they came out and explained, damn, what's that dude name with the glasses? He been on a ass, but it's a dude, and I think they bodied him, but it's a dude that he explains like he was basically trying to get the government to release like all files, and he had people in the military like deep to testify that all these files is accurate. I'm like, yo, a white dude, like he was on his shit. I'm like, nah. I'm like, yo, bro, you on your shit. He on their ass, and they try to kill him many times. And I think I don't want to speak that on his name, but I think he is. He's transitioned. But what I was saying. Damn, what I was saying. Oh, that a lot of these people that have had the privilege to see these things or witness these people come in contact, they all preach about how they have humanoid bodies. And that's why I was saying the whole thing, you know, black girl created everything. It would make sense. We think that they look like this or that, but in all reality they don't. You know what I'm saying? Because and then they show you that all these things are outside of yourself, like when everything is within. You get what I'm saying? Like you don't. Oh, my brain started going in so many different ways. My point is that there's so much, and I could go on forever. There's so much shit, you feel me, that it's just we're not attuned to, bro. You get what I'm saying? Like there's so much shit we're not attuned to. There's so much shit we don't know, and to just be open, bro. Like I love learning. You feel me? Like about these things and Hollow Earth. Cause I remember like it started when I was younger as like escapism. You feel me? Like just getting away from my mind, situation I was in growing up, how I was feeling at that time when I was younger, and just being like, wow, like this is amazing. Like it just resonated with my soul, like seeing these things like Hollow Earth and all that shit. Like, and it's just like, yo, like this, like even if it's not this, something like this has to be real, bro. You feel me? It started off like that as an escapism, but then when I started looking into these things because I was like really interested, I'm like, oh, there's a lot of coincidences. You feel me? And the big term back then was conspiracy theories, but it's just the world is so fascinating. You feel me? As much as I say I don't like people or all this other shit, it's not true. And like I really love being able to experience life through this physical state, and I'm I I really desire the truth for everybody. You feel me? Because we deserve it. And this notion that, oh, if you told people they'll go crazy, listen, the truth is the truth, bro. You feel me? It's going whether. Let me ask you personally, right? Would you, if somebody could offer you like, I don't know, life changing truth, right? Or let's just think about it in the simplest terms, right? If you're with somebody and they were like the greatest partner to you, you feel me? Like y'all having a great experience, but they have this whole other life. You feel me? They doing all this other stuff, and that not just the superficial thing, you know, like what people think like cheating. Just they just have a whole other life outside of you that you don't know about, like all this other things that they're doing. Maybe a family, you know, just a whole nother part of them that you have no idea about, and that they hid. You feel me? Would you want to know about that if you're like in a situation where you guys have agreed that y'all want to build something together, or would you want that to be hidden from you? You feel me? I'd like to think that most people would want to know that. Do I think people wouldn't? There might be some people too that might want to be ignorance is bliss, they say. So there might be some people that don't. But even my point is, even no matter how hard that affects you, you would be in a way better place knowing that than being in the complete, like being oblivious to all of that. You get what I'm saying? Because then you don't, the person you think you know is not. That's not the person you think you know. And that's my whole thing with this, like everything they're teaching us. Like even the perception you have of yourself is rooted in lies. So you can't truly know yourself because everything is rooted in lies. You can't no. You can learn yourself though. You can build that. You feel me? Go within, meditate, um, and there's a lot of great resources, especially people out there that are giving great knowledge, like Dr. Umar, Rashad Jamal, 19 Keys, and they all have these different perspectives, but they're all, you can see the connections between all these um, powerful um, leaders. You feel me? Powerful men, and even women too. But I'm just saying, like, there's I forgot my point. What was I trying to say? But the main thing is just that, like, I would want to know the truth, and I feel like no matter what it does to the world, is what it this notion of that it'll destroy the world or whatever it needs to, because the world, and not in the sense of everything needs to die or anything like that, everybody needs to die, in the sense of this comfort that was built for us through slavery, suppression, white oppression, white supremacy, like capitalism, like this construct needs to be broken. You get what I'm saying? There's no if and or buts. I used to be under the notion that reparations, all that. No, bro, because we're still gonna fund their ideology. This whole shit was rooted in all the things I said, and even much more that we don't know about. You get what I'm saying? Whether you start talking about the rituals, all this stuff they've been doing to kids, like just learning about Christmas and how the Romans, it was a holiday where they were taking having drinks with, like, men were having drinks with each other and then having sex with each other, and like um doing, like, raping kids and shit like that, like all this weird shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just like, damn, like when you learn about stuff like that, and it's just like, nah, bro, like I'm not on that timing, bro. I don't even want to celebrate, bask in that tradition, because when you start when you start realizing they're not only harvesting, like, our energy and shit like that, that they are, when they're taking kids and they're doing these rituals, and you start asking yourself why they're doing these rituals, and it's so many different things, like adrenochrome. If you ever know about that, it's a chemical I believe we all release when we're scared. And then think about it. Think. I just had this realization. I'm gonna break that down though, but it's higher potency in kids, and it's to believe by the elites and all that white supremacy, the oppressors, that it's an elixir for the fountain of youth. So let me tell you that now, and this is a fact that they do. You feel me? Like, this is not cap. Like, this is not speculation. This is like, they are doing this, bro. And they do a whole bunch of other rituals. But let's talk about this now. Think about that, right? Just off that aspect, and think about what the news is, right? And how all you see is negativity on the news. You might see a little 5-second spot of somebody locally coming out, making food, making art, starting their business, or some small shit like that. But on a mass grand scale, it's fear. Ask yourself that. Now, wouldn't that make sense for you to, if you believe just this simple ritual and this thing they do, if they are doing this, if they're taking all these kids and doing all this shit to get this, this adrenochrome, you feel me? Because they feel like this is elixir, wouldn't it make sense to constantly instill fear? And then people are easier to manipulate and control as well when they're in a state of fear. And people can't make their best decisions when they're in a state of fear. You get what I'm saying? So when you start thinking about that, you just know like all this shit, bro, it's facts. Like, and this is not like speculate. This is shit I'm telling you. Like, this is real shit. If you don't believe me, just look that shit up. You feel me? Like, and it's just like, damn, like, this shit get deep, dog. This shit get deep. Like, and it's just like, I never, I started to, what I will say is like, and listen, I'm gonna be, this is gonna be a series now, bro. It's gonna be Deep Thoughts with K. Deep Thoughts with K, you feel me? And I'm gonna just be going into these shits, but like, think of like, even the situation where like, oh, I was gonna say, let me go back. So, but what I will say is, don't, try to impose your will or try to force people to believe what you believe. And I want to break this down a little deeper. There's been times in my own life where I felt like, I've, whether it be in like relationships or whatever, I wouldn't, like, when people would do certain things, or just in general, people would do certain things, I'm like, yo, why are you doing that? But I started to understand that, like, because you know everybody says that, oh, everybody's different, but you have to truly empathize with that and embody that fully. You get what I'm saying? Like, everybody is truly, we might be all one collective consciousness, but think about it as everybody's coming from a different perspective with that. You feel me? So you might have this deep love for cheese that I just don't have. You get what I'm saying? Like, just something as simple as that. But don't try to, and also impose your will, like how I just mentioned, because I'll give you an example. Like, my TikTok has been blowing up lately, and I'm grateful for the community I'm building. Not necessarily, I'm not, the community I'm building is supporters. You feel me? And there's a lot of people that I didn't know were out there that I could have these great conversations with. Like, it's amazing. I'm so grateful for that. You feel me? That more than anything else. You feel me? I say that to say, there's people on there that are literally bots. Like, if you think there aren't, like, when you start talking about, because a lot of stuff I start talking about, I'm talking about on TikTok, and I'm a very passionate person. So when I'm expressing these things, like, you feel me, I'm either up here or, you feel me, like, it's no in between with me. You feel me? Like, I'm, like my boy Free Rashad Jamal, like he had said on one of his lectures, you feel me? Damn, I just had it and I lost it. He said, fuck. Oh, it either is or I either am or I'm not. It either is or it isn't. Like, and that's the simplest shit. Like, I never said it like that, but that's what it is. It's either up or it's not. You know what I'm saying? And you see people in the comments trying to, you know, expose their shit, or like I said, bots, like, just explain their ideology. And when I say bots, it's not like, because I feel like so many people are using that word now. I mean, like, literal people, when you are trying to expose the truth, and you're talking about these, would I guess in today's society deem sensitive, you know, or conspiracy shit, you'd be stupid to think if they don't have people like trying to counter, you know, spread some bullshit in the comments. You could tell, like, especially with the profiles and shit like that. But other than that, there's people trying to impose their will. Let me go back. Let me rewind. When you're trying to, what I mean by that is like, what I keep expressing to people is that there's not one person. You get what I'm saying? Like, it can't just be one. I'm not trying to be the Messiah. You get what I'm saying? Look at where that's left us, bro. They keep killing us off because when it's just one person, it's easy to eradicate that, bro. Think about Hercules. If you've never seen Hercules, there's a scene where I think he's just getting strong and shit, and like he's like, all right, I got it. And he cuts like the dragon's head off. You feel me? He did all that work. He like, yeah, like, you feel me? But then two more grew back, and then he cut those off, and then it just kept growing and growing and growing and growing until he realized, like, damn, this is not the wave, but it's the same situation, bro. Like, damn, I just lost my point with that. It's the same sort of vibe. Like, you can't, what I was saying, like, what I was saying, y'all, come on, help me out, bro. Help me out. Like what I was saying, you can't keep like, damn. And I was thinking like, shit, I ain't gonna have to edit nothing in this video. I'm gonna have to edit this shit. You, the point of cooking on Hercules. Oh, I'm back. I'm back. So we was talking about why there can't be one Messiah. So when he was doing that, it just kept growing back. You get what I'm saying? So like, my point about that is like, there's one. We might, if we keep putting this one person on a pedestal and following behind this one person, they're gonna just take him out, and eventually another one will come back. But like, it won't be as fast as that scene in Hercules. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta, to be able to really make a change, it has to be all of us, and we all have something to offer, bro. Like, for me, I feel like I have a lot of skill sets to offer. You feel me? In the sense of that, I know my strengths, and I'm learning more and more. You know, that I'm more natural at certain things than I had thought, that I didn't think of before. You feel me? Like writing. Like, if you haven't seen any of my notes to self videos on TikTok, I think I have like maybe 2 up in YouTube Shorts, but it's basically these videos of me just like spewing out whatever's like on my mind or whatever, you know, and something that I've learned, or you feel me? Like, I just let my whatever comes out comes out. You get what I'm saying? I'll read some of these back and I'm like, damn, Kenny, like, where did shit come from? You feel me? So I started to realize, and I realized this back like late after school. I had this teacher, shout out to Mr. McNaughty. He was in like I was in a program to get your like GED. Don't know why I did that shit. That was a waste of time. But I got that shit in like a month. And I'll never forget him, because he was the best teacher I ever had. And when I say teacher, like, he literally taught. It was his own curriculum, and he did it perfectly. Like, it was so well spent. But basically, he helped me realize that I love writing, and there's so much other skills that I'm learning, and so much other innate talents that I'm realizing I have too. Like, for the longest, I always knew I was good at problem solving. I'm good at thinking on the fly. You feel me? So like, any type of issues that I could figure it out like in that second, like clockwork. Like, I'm a great problem solver. You feel me? Like, I'm a visionary. I can see things before they happen. That always helped me in sports, video games. Like, imagine it like this, right? Think about it like an out of body experience. Like, this is me, right? And let's say I'm playing football or something like that. I can see multiple paths that I can take to be successful, and it's all based off it's highly, and it's not just like, it's a mixture of, I know what I'm capable of, but I also know the people I'm going up against. You get what I'm saying? And I know how to manipulate that situation. You feel me? So, and that's just and I could see myself, like, I could literally see myself in my head doing all these things before it happened, type shit, if that makes sense. But, and I have like a picture. I always say picture. I don't know. I be getting picture perfect memory. It's definitely not that, but y'all know what I'm talking about. You feel me? So it just figuring out your skills and what you have to offer is my point. Like, what is it you have to offer? But you're only gonna know that with literally sitting with yourself. Like, I can't tell you. I've been meditating. Let's get into it, bro. I've been meditating for like a year or two consistently, right? And it's literally like this conversation I'm having for y'all. Prior to me doing that, this was my biggest form of, if you want to say, this was therapeutic for me. You feel me? The most therapeutic thing I could ever do. You feel me? Like, I thought, for a long time, I thought video games was, and it wasn't. It was more of a suppression. Like, it was like a Band-Aid on a infected ass cut with no, like, I didn't put nothing to clean it out. I just put a Band-Aid over it. You feel me? Like, it ain't clean, but it got that job done temporarily. You know what I'm saying? So it was the same thing with video games. But when I talk to myself like this, and I have these conversations with myself, it was the biggest form, I guess, if you want to say, therapy, bro. And meditation now is like it taking that to another level, because now I I train my mind, body, and soul to sit with myself. You feel me? Not pick up my phone, not worry about like distractions or anything like that. Just be in tune. You feel me? Like, let me make sure I'm still recording. Oh, it's lit. It's lit. I got that space on my phone. You heard? Nah, but to just be in tune with myself and to like it has done tremendous things for me, bro. Like the stuff, bro. I'm able to control my breathing a lot more. Like what I noticed for a large majority of my life, like I wasn't breathing properly, bro. But that's also because I never found myself as an anxious person, and I still don't today. Like I've never been like that. I will say I realized it showed up for me in different ways. So there'd be some times where I notice it, but I never really acknowledge it. I'm just like, damn, why I'm not like breathing right now? Like, just breathe, bro. Like, what's going on? But when you start asking yourself why, you start realizing that stems from somewhere. You feel me? So like, I started to understand like my situation. Like, I'll give y'all an example. I'll put y'all into some deep shit. You feel me? That some personal shit that happened to me. So, um, I realized that once I moved out of my mom's crib at like 23, and there was something happened to me one day where I was in the shower and saying, shit you always do, washing up. I'm singing my heart out, and then I felt like I was having a heart attack, and it was so crazy. Like I turned off the water, like I was nervous, like I started hyperventilating, and this happened to me before too, in my mom's crib. Like, you feel me? One when I was younger, and then they diagnosed me with asthma. But now that I'm looking back, I'm like, oh, this all of this shit was correlated. But I was saying that like that shit. You feel me? Like I was so that shit scared the shit out of me because I never been in a situation like that. Like I thought I was having a heart attack. You feel me? And since then, for the most part, I never took a shower unless my mom was home or I was going out, because and that's how I knew it was a psychological thing, because if I was going out, I was good. My brain wasn't on that. You feel me? I wasn't worried about that shit or anything like that. I'm just like, oh, I'm about to go out. It's lit. You feel me? I'm gonna hop in real quick. I'm good. But I bring that up to say that I didn't realize until I moved out of my mom's crib that it was panic attacks. And I'll explain to you why I knew it was panic attacks. Because when I moved out, I experienced something that I've like never experienced in my entire life. It was just like my mind expanded, like to an, I'd say, like, how people say their awakening or their spiritual journey, like it just flowed out of me. You feel me? Because I felt like for so long it was suppressed. Like for so long I was suppressing who I was for the people I was around. I was watering myself down for the people that I was around. And this is not a knock on them. This is me. This is what I was doing. This is what I was okay with. And I'd even vocalize it, but I didn't realize how, like, I'd vocalize it, but it was I was justifying it in my mind. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'd be like, oh, like, I don't want, y'all could pick whatever y'all want to do and I'm going to always show up. You feel me? Like, well, it's whatever y'all want to do. You feel me? Like, nah, I don't, you feel me? I never really, like, made plans, or I just went along, and I always was like, I prided myself in being able to adapt. And it's like, to a certain degree, that's cool, but like, you should never, you're always going to be a shell of who you truly are. You get what I'm saying? If you constantly are adapting to other people, adapting to other people's emotions, adapting to other people's beliefs, adapting to other people's vices, you feel me? Like, etc. And talking to y'all now is crazy. I'm realizing that stemmed from like my mom. Like when I grew up when I was younger, I had to constantly no, probably no different from any other boy. Like if you were like, first of all, I grew up around a lot of females, so when I was younger, I was very emotional, but I was also like on my shit. Like I was just angry, and I didn't understand why I was angry, and I was always saying that I was an angry ass person. You feel me? But it came from a lot of different shit. You know, the relationship I had, or the lack thereof, with my parents, and being told that you can't be emotional because you're a boy. You feel me? Like a whole bunch of different shit. But I bring up the like I went through this whole spiritual awakening and shit in my mom crib, um, because I mean when I moved out, because I was finally free, like the shackles released. You feel me? Like, and I didn't really understand that. Like, it felt so good to be me. You feel me? Unapologetically, to like let it flow. Like the amount of information I intook on like my spiritual journey, getting into meditating, like journaling. Like I've been journaling for like two years straight. I have actually right here. I have two books that are full. You feel me? And like I spoke about it in one of my other videos, but like just to be able to have this reference point of who you were, or that perspective you once had, is like amazing. You get what I'm saying? But getting back to that, and I know now that that happened because like I said, just the relationships I had, I didn't have. I me and my mom aren't close, and we will never be that close, and that's fine. It doesn't mean that I hate her, or I don't hold any resentment to my mom as I once did. But there's just things that happen, and it's just like one of those things when you know. It's like trying to make the perfect example is I'll say it's like trying to play basketball with a football, bro. You might be able to throw that shit in the hoop. You're gonna be able to dunk it. You're gonna be able to pass it, but it's just not gonna be as efficient because it's not a basketball, bro. You feel me? That's not the sport. Like when it comes to dribbling and all that, you feel me? You're gonna be frustrated. You feel me? Because that's just what it is. It's a football. So I say that to say that she is who she is, and that's cool. I accept her for who she is, and I get a deeper understanding every day, literally, about the journey she's had and the things she's gone through, and how she worked with what she knew and stuff like that, and she did the best that she could do in that moment, and for that I'm appreciative of it. You know what I'm saying? But it took a long time for me not to only say that, but to truly embody that, and I'm still practicing that every day. You get what I'm saying? But I realized it was, I don't know, it felt like it. That's how I knew it was panic attacks that whole time, because like I had moved at the time with my ex, and we moved to LA, and I didn't have none of that. You feel me? Like I didn't have no, she be at work. I didn't have no. That was the thing I was kind of worried about. I'm like, damn. But I also, something told me, I'm like, yo, it's like literally when I moved out, I had that realization, like, oh, you was having panic attacks, and it's only because of the feeling I had. It's like, think of like, imagine like holding your breath, right? For dumb long. You just holding your breath for dumb long, and then you finally like, you feel me, like breathe. Like that's how it felt. Like a weight was lifted off my shoulders. Like it was just an amazing experience, and it was like I wouldn't change that for the world. And once I experienced that, I tried to express to everybody. You feel me? The people that was closest to me. You know. That yo, you need to get out of your environment. Like once I had that, I knew for a fact. And that's not something that I think, everybody has their different things. No, you need to. You get what I'm saying? Like no matter if you're flourishing or you're not flourishing, you need to experience something other than what was normal to you or your comfort zone. Because your hometown, where you're from, the people you know, that is all your comfort zone. And I realized how much we didn't expand, and how much that whole adapting shit. That's why I had to do that too, because like, bro, I was not me, bro. Like I was adapting other people's ideals, like my friends and shit like that. Like my friends would be like, like some of my friends would be like, no, like we don't want to fucking no new people. You get what I'm saying? Like like we'd be like, no new friends or whatever. I know Drake was saying that shit and all that, but that became the like ideology, But that's all rooted in trust. You feel me? Like a lack thereof, and discernment. Like when you start realizing it's not, you don't have to be on that timing. Like if you are, it's cool, but that wasn't me. Since I was young, I was always, I like to be around people. I like to, help people and shit like that. So much in my early years, so much that it was a detriment to myself. You feel me? I just expressed how to adapt and shit. So much that I expanded so much of myself. You feel me? And a lot of my relationships will never be the same because I'm not the same, and I'm not doing those things that I was once doing for those people. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like I don't love you, or I hate you, or you feel me, I resent. No, that was me. All of that was me. But I am an evolved version of myself. I am truly coming into myself. And a lot of the things that I once tolerated, or a lot of the things that I was doing, I'm not. Especially because when you start learning the place it was coming from, like a lot of that stuff was rooted in me not feeling loved. So I felt like I need to show my value. Like, hey, you feel me? Like I'll do everything what you need, bro. You feel me? Like a lot of that was rooted in that, because I felt like I needed to prove that, because I felt like, I guess subconsciously I felt like I needed to do that, with my moms, because that's a whole nother situation. But like there was so much like, and I didn't have my father in my life, so it was like a culmination. Just imagine you're trying to figure out how to be a man. You feel me? Like a man, technically. You feel me? I know now that I'm a guy. You can feel the type of way if you want, but you feel me? But trying to be this man that society tells you, trying to be this man that. Remember, I grew up around a whole bunch of women that they're telling you to be. Don't share your emotion. Only girls do that. Like this is relatives have said this to me, bro. Like you crying too much. I'm pretty sure at some point, I feel like some of my relatives said like, stop being a bitch. Like you know, get what I'm saying? Like so, you start trying to fit into this mode, and then you start trying to curate this, even subconsciously. You get what I'm saying? Because I was always under like, yo, I'm gonna be me regardless, but not realizing that at the core, yeah, you feel me? Like I didn't take a lot of shit. If I didn't want to do something, I was very, very much, and still am to this day, a free thinker. You feel me? Like independent. Like I don't just go with the crowd. What makes sense? If all y'all niggas is walking right, and it's mad space left, I'm gonna go left. You get what I'm saying? Like I'm not about to wait. Like you know what I'm saying? But it's just little things like that. Cause it's like, why y'all going? And it's not like it has to. I have to do the opposite. It's just like I ask myself. You feel me? These questions, but it's just when you start to have this like, I know niggas went from aliens to I'm out here, y'all out here being my therapist and shit like this. Like, listen, it's all love though, bro. You feel me? Like, I wanted to be more vulnerable, but I also wanted to be more comfortable on camera. Like, I realized that it's anything. It's like a muscle. You need to do it every day. Like, I never felt uncomfortable, but I noticed that a lot of my thoughts flow now. Like, a lot of these conversations I have with myself, it's starting to feel like just like when I talk to myself. It's not quite there yet, but it's getting there, and that's how I know I'm getting good. You feel me? I'm getting comfortable as far as like that whole aspect. But it's just like, I don't even know where I was going with that, y'all. But life is, oh damn, it's been an hour I've been talking to y'all, and I'm gonna upload this whole shit. I'm not cutting shit out. You feel me? I might cut out like the little dull moments, but I might just post this whole thing. You feel me? That ass. Cause this is like, and this is gonna be, this is something about something else, but like on TikTok, or if you feel me, I recently saw when Avatar came out, right? Well, the first part, the original one. I thought I saw it. I know I didn't see it in the movies, but I thought I saw it on TV and shit like that. But I never saw it, and how I knew is because I went to, when it came back out, I saw it in theaters for the first time. I saw it in theaters, and I'm like, oh, this is the first time I've ever seen it. I'm watching it in 3D, and I had this like it was another like mind-boggling. And yes, it was a good movie, but it wasn't in the sense of like the story. It was because of I saw all the troops. Like for the first time, I saw like it was, even if it was on camera, because you see it in so many different movies too, and then just an acknowledgement of colonization. Because I started looking at movies different now from like before. So I don't watch movies necessarily for pleasure or enjoyment or for you to make me feel some type of way. I'm able to go in a movie objectively and still control how I'm feeling in that movie, but not be separate from it, if it makes sense. Like that experience. Like I'm trying to see what your intent is. What are the things you're telling me in this movie? You get what I'm saying? Like I'm very intentional about what I watch too. Like I'm not just seeing movies. But anyway, I was seeing Avatar, and then I was just like, damn, this is profound, because it felt like so many things resonated with me because of the knowledge that I do have currently, as far as like the tree of life and how the natives were, and just the colonization. Like that's literally our story, dog. And it's and knowing that this world has been around for so long, like I know that our planet um was so was like that, bro. Like even if it wasn't verbatim as far as like the bioluminescence and everything like that, that it was that lush. You feel me? That it was that lush, that like fruitful, that we had this deep spiritual connection. You feel me? Like think about it. You know, people always say like, oh, black people, Spanish, they're so spiritual. They're so. Where do you think that comes from? You feel me? And then when you start looking back at all these tribes that we are, you feel me, connected with and stuff like that, you start to realize like shit, like this shit run deep. But I'm watching that from that lens, as if like it's like I got a glimpse of what was for us. You feel me? And that did something like it was extremely profound for me. Like I get there's people, especially like this people like shit. I read with you. There's some of like my people like on the black and Spanish side that, well, just people voicing, um, what I'm trying to say, because I'm so sick of saying black and Spanish. There's gods and goddesses, you feel me, that have voiced like, oh, this is they speak about like, oh, why is it always a white dude, saving? And that is facts. I agree with that completely. I share those sentiments with you too. But the difference is when I watched it through my lens, I already knew that. You feel me? Like I didn't look at it as them. I put myself in those shoes. You get what I'm saying? Like this is literally like us. You get what I'm saying? Like this is our story type shit, and our planet look like this. And there's different. Now if you in the trailer Avatar 2 it shows you, but now you know that there's different branches of that species type shit. But it's just like, and they have different gifts and shit like that. But it's like that's real shit, bro. So when I'm watching it, I'm like, damn, like this is our history. Like we was connected spiritually like this. Like we had a deep respect for the animals, the planet. You get what I'm saying? And that was enough. You get what I'm saying? Like that was enough. Like if you've seen Avatar, you can't tell me you wouldn't. Well, you probably could. You feel me? Like I wouldn't assume everybody would want to be Navi, but you couldn't tell me like you wouldn't want to be them, or that you don't like you wouldn't want to live that lifestyle. You get what I'm saying? And I think it was such a cultural phenomenon because a lot of people felt, even if they're not able to express it, they felt that. Like they saw, especially the black and Latino people, the gods and the goddesses, they felt like themselves. They saw, and it resonated with them. It resonated on a deeper level because that's innately who we are. So I believe when something makes such a cultural impact, it's because there's some sort of truth in there that resonates deeply, that's been engraved with everybody in their DNA. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna come back to why, because I just went off on like Avatar, but I'm gonna come back to that too. But I went into Billy Carson. If you haven't watched him, he explained. I don't remember like the exact number, but it was something crazy. He was talking about how 1 gram of DNA, right? That they pulled it, and like just one piece of your fingertip, right, is equivalent to like, I forgot. It's some crazy ass number of DNA, and how we have like, if you don't know by now, we have like they call it junk DNA, but we don't have junk DNA. Especially when you black, Spanish, well, not Spanish, Latino. If you classify black, Latino, African, you feel me, like you They say that we have junk DNA and all that, but it's not. But I ain't gonna get into that. But the point is, he was just explaining how it could store, that one piece could store like a certain amount of data. And that was just like a piece of your fingerprint, you feel me? Or like a drop of your blood, like your DNA and shit. Like, could store like this mass amount of data. And it's just like, damn, that shit is like, I was like, damn, that shit is crazy. But let me get back to Avatar though. So the reason why I was talking about like how I'm gonna keep this like this is because when I watched Avatar, there was a part where they was just doing video logs, and I was like, oh, like that's dope. And then I've always been like, yo, I kind of like how I wanted to document my journey, and what inspired those videos logs was Avatar, because I saw that and I was like, damn, it'd be dope if I could document my life and my journey, and I could be able to express these like this conversation I'm having with y'all, I could be able to express that fully on camera. And what was I trying to say? Express that fully on camera, because I know that this information will reach who it need to reach and that it'll help people. But also, imagine, you shouldn't idolize celebrities, but you feel me? Or even really look up to them. You feel me? Like, just grab pieces, because I ain't even gonna get into that. But let's say Kobe. You feel me? Like, if there's certain things you idolize about Kobe or whatever like that, try to bring it that. I keep trying to talk myself to that. If you there is, damn, see, I keep my brain. I kept. It's like when you trying, your brain is like trying to beat something into your head, but that's not even what you trying to, like, you feel me, trying to explain. It's more so like your lower self trying to say some shit, and it's just like, no, bro, I'm not even trying to talk about that. Like, anyway, what I was gonna say, if there's shit, yeah, y'all gotta put me on again, bro. Like, it slipped my mind. Like, I'm gonna just talk about the video log. So, like, the point I wanted to do it was because I know it can help somebody, and I know that there'd be a lot of gems in it. Only because you are a reflection of people. So I know that when I took these, how much better I feel and how much clarity I gained. So I'm like, all right, this could help somebody. But also, I felt like there's this authenticness in seeing a person's beginning. I don't want to say to end, but a beginning to their transition. You feel me? Like, whether it's from this physical body, or just like the whole transition from when they started their journey to the end. Like, imagine if, that's what I was saying. Imagine if you saw Kobe entire journey. You feel me? From beginning to end. It would hit different than you just hearing the stories from him or getting these glimpses and photos. Like, imagine, you know how everybody talk about how Kobe, his work ethic in the gym. Imagine if you saw videos on that, like, consistently. That's a different type of empowerment, because just like visualization is the most empowering thing. That's why, like, propaganda and all that shit, you feel me? Like, they put out propaganda and all that. Did y'all know the news? There's a law, I forgot what this passed, but they can put whatever they want on the news now and low-key claim that it's real. Like, low-key claim that it's real. Same thing with, like, your vitamin. Any 99, if not 99, 100% of your vitamins are like a CVS, Walgreens. Don't buy no vitamins from there. Really, go to a health food store. But I would, before I even buy it there, I would do my own research. I know I'm getting off topic, but I would do my own research and even look into, because I had seen a video and I was looking to get in like vitamins overseas because they have different regulations. You feel me? Like, they have more strict regulations on it, but that's another conversation. But imagine if you was able to see that whole process. You feel me? He was able to, now you could visualize it. So now I'm not just telling you about how I did that. You feel me? Like, how I put in all this time at the gym and I put all this work into myself to be where I'm at today. Imagine you could see that, you know, from the beginning. I feel like I know it's something extremely profound in that. So I was like, yo, I want to do that. You feel me? Like, and I leave everything up. I don't take nothing off. So I'll give you an example. If you go on my Instagram, I didn't really care for any of those videos now that I think about it. Like, I had that one viral video. I had a couple videos that did well, but I had like a video that had almost 2 million views. And when that shit went viral, bro, I really was like, I don't want to do Instagram. I don't feel like Instagram is the platform for me, just because I feel like it's not a place where people feel like they can be themselves. Like everybody's trying to. I feel like, and obviously it's perception. So I'm not saying you are doing this or you have to or anything, but I feel like it's an app that's cultivated in like superficial things, like all the most superficial shit. So like, you gotta look good all the time. You gotta, and that could just be the side of Instagram I'm on too. You feel me? But this is what I've heard for everybody though. You feel me? Like you gotta be looking the best. You feel me? You gotta be doing like these trending things. Like it's just a culmination. It just wasn't for me. So when that video did what it did, I was just like, and when I had videos doing well, it just like it wasn't resonating with me. You feel me? Like I needed a redirection. You feel me? I'm like, cause I was initially supposed to focus on the 3 social media platforms I was supposed to focus on. It was YouTube mainly, and then Instagram and TikTok. And then Instagram was something I was like really pushing for. I'm like, yo, Reels is new. And then you get on that bandwagon, you start watching videos. Don't watch videos, bro. If you wanna, you can learn. It's different between learning skills that's gonna help you grow, but don't watch those videos on how to make money on YouTube. You don't need to watch none of that shit. You don't need to watch how to make money on TikTok. You don't, because even a lot of these people that aren't creators, like some of the people that are literally, they know that people searching that shit and they're just regurgitating this information. They're just, you feel me? They're capitalizing off that system. You feel me? Just knowing that people want to do that shit. So, and also, if you're not saying that you can't use that as a motivator, you can, but like, you're more likely to burn out because your sole purpose is to get money, and money's not real. But I ain't even gonna get into that right now. But you feel me? Like, so just don't look at those. Great resources is like Sean Cannell, Think Media. He was my favorite, bro. Like I love that channel. Very resourceful. You can tell he's put the time. Like he put time in, and you could tell by how he articulates himself and his knowledge. So, but damn, what I was saying now. Let's remind me again, y'all. Put me on. You feel me? Like ancestors, talk to me. Damn. But yeah, so I was doing those. I don't even remember what I was saying, bro. But the video logs. So yeah, so I wanted to basically just document that journey because I feel like something profound in that, and I desire to empower people, inspire too, because it started with inspire, but I say more than ever, I want to empower people. And I'm gonna cut it up after this, and then I'm gonna post this. But if y'all want longer ones, if anybody I want to see how much people like actually watch this and enjoy this. But I'm gonna do these regardless. But if y'all want them to be like longer, let me know. I'll do that too. And maybe I'll go live now. I'm like, damn, because I feel like I'm comfortable enough. So like, if y'all want to see that too, let me know. But the point of those video logs was, like I said, documenting this whole journey. I know I'm like regretting saying the same shit because I'm trying to remember, but just documenting the journey and being able to provide that process. You feel me? Oh, I took my Instagram and shit, but I came to the realization of that this shit is, this is more so like a superficial situation, like, you feel me? And that's mostly my fault because when I created my Instagram, that was when it was new, and I was in this thing where I was just adding all the prettiest females. I'm like, prettiest women, I should say. You feel me? And I was just like, yeah, like I'm just going, you feel me? I just want to see beautiful, beautiful women, and it's like, not that ever stops, but it's like that's what I was consuming back then. Like when I look what I was consuming back then, it was video games. I'm on Instagram all the time, literally looking at either my friends' videos or just beautiful ass women, and it's like, you feel me? Like all this other shit and you don't realize that's becoming the stuff you like are just manifesting. Like you just, because that's all the energy you're putting into it. You're putting your energy, and I'm not gonna sit here and say like I was out here wilding in the streets because I wasn't. You feel me? Like a lot of the people I'm around, I don't judge them for it. And like, you are the people you keep. So I caught myself in little pockets where I was stepping into that, and I was just like, that ain't me. But that's a whole nother conversation. Um, the point is, so when I got done, um, that video log series was not only for that, but I wanted it to keep it unedited as well, because I wanted people to see, um, just the authenticity, and not that it's not when you cut, but just the parts where you make mistakes, the parts where it's not as clear. Now, don't get me wrong, I sometimes, not as much now, but sometimes when I have an idea that I feel I need to get out, I might do some takes, but I like for it to be one continuous thing. You feel me? Like when I feel like I need to stop, I stop. I do know I'm in a 3 minute window on TikTok, so that's why I want to get more in tune with getting back to YouTube. Um, and I realized like I don't gotta do all this like editing shit. Like shout out to Cather out. Let me end this at an hour and 15. I've really been talking to y'all like an hour. But shout out to Cather out if you haven't seen her channel. And there's other people too, like Lynette Atkins. Like these are Bria Jones. But I want to give a specific shout out to Cather out. I hope I'm saying her channel right, because she has this series called Oversharing, and I love that series because it's literally like, and yes, she does cuts and stuff like that to make it more enticing, whatever, but it's like she's literally like, it's like this. She's just talking to you from her. Like it's nothing else. I'm big on like authenticity. You feel me? And I love, like, not that it's not to say anybody else is being fake. It's not. But I'm big on like that rawness, that aspect of us. You feel me? Like, and I pride myself in being able to um think think on a go, or just be able to have these really intellectual conversations for a long time. And when I say intellectual, it's not based off like book or anything. It's like just based off, I would say like when I think intellectual, I think like challenging beliefs and free thinking and expressing your opinion articulately, meaning like people can grasp like what you feel or what you're trying to say, the right people type shit. But it's just, her channel also inspired that, but it's also inspired this because I wanted my own version of that. You get what I'm saying? And I started to, TikTok was like a little piece of that, of me doing those. And now I realize like, yo, I want to do this on YouTube. I want to have longer conversations where I'm just going on, and like the people it resonates. If it doesn't resonate with you, it don't. But I don't want to make all these cuts, and you feel me? Like I just want to be, I am just gonna be me. You feel me? Like I just want to post it how it is. There's a time and place for those type of videos. Like if I go on vacation, I'll go to something like that. But like this is something like I really want, this one specifically, I want it to just be, it is gonna be, I'm trying to speak. I'm telling you, like when you start learning about words and shit, I try to be like, for better or for worse, I am being more, how more intentional about how I say things and how I word it. You feel me? Just because I know the power of that words hold. So sometimes you might see me stumbling and stuff like that. It's because of that, because that's a new thing that I'm being conscious about, that I'm being conscious and intentional about, and that I'm on my ass with. So it's still figuring out that verbiage. It's still like, or how to say things and shit like that. It's challenging sometimes. But point is, I'm gonna be doing these a lot more, whether you like it or not. So if you do like it, I appreciate you. If you don't, I appreciate you still. You feel me? It ain't no love lost. But I am going to give um, a lot of like my wisdom, things that I've just grown to know through experience, like a lot of the knowledge that I have picked up, in, I don't want to say in hopes, in knowing that it will inspire and empower the right people, and I want to emphasize empower because that was my whole thing. And I would encourage you that if you don't know what inspires you, you don't know what empowers you, take one step. And I know everybody says that, but literally one idea will bring you to the next idea, will bring you to the next idea. Like just like think about walking, especially if you're from New York, trying to get to point B, trying to get to point A. Cause I have it in my head, but it sounded weird. Anyway, trying to get from point A to from, trying to get from point A, trying to get from point. Bro, you trying to go to Chick-fil-A from your crib. That's what we at. You trying to go to Chick-fil-A from your crib. What does it take? Like, you feel me? If you walk in one step at a time. So literally embody that. Like, it's gonna take one step, and I'm living proof. Like, I'm gonna show y'all. I'll show y'all that in a different video. But I'm gonna show y'all on here and on TikTok. Like, literally the goals I built out in my vision boards that I have, and it's like, this year is crazy. This is the first year that I've achieved so many of my goals and shit like that. Like, that I've written down. And I've just gotten consistent. This has been like the second year. And I'll say that's because I've been, I kind of was building my goals around somebody, I'd say, or like with somebody the first time, and the second time I just kind of built my own. It was more personal. So now that like I'm seeing the fruits of that, I'm not gonna say labor because it ain't labor. We ain't talking about that. Just seeing the fruits of like my imagination and willpower and dedication and trusting and belief in myself. You get what I'm saying? Like seeing that is amazing. So if getting back to what I was saying, if I leave you with anything, just know that if you're not able to find out what you're best at or what you like and stuff like that, it's just gonna take one step at a time. You feel me? That's what's gonna get you. And I will be doing a lot more. This is the first in the series. I'm probably gonna drop. I think I am gonna drop these once a week. I'm gonna try. I want these conversations to be very organic, but I literally do this every day of my life, whether it be with people I can have these conversations with, or myself. So just being able to capture that energy. Like I know when I'm in that zone now and I'm flowing, and I'm gonna just pick up the camera and record. But if you enjoyed this video, if you watch this long, listen. If you watch this long, cause I know everybody do this, but I really want to see how much people watch this long. If you watch this long, comment. Man, I'm thinking too much, right? If you watch this long, comment Navi. You feel me? It's NAVI. You don't got to put the I was about to say exclamation mark. Hyphen is what it's called. Listen, I told y'all I dropped out. You feel me? I told y'all. So, but if you comment, just put Navi. I'm thinking about it too much. If you watch this long, just put Navi. But I appreciate anybody with, no matter how much you watch this video. If you want to see more content like this, you can go to my TikTok. That's more so where I do like daily. You see these like in like little capsule form. So if you want to see more of that, you can go there. Instagram is more so like I'll post what I'm like doing or the things that I'm watching. So if you want to get more in tune with the type of people I'm watching, the resources, or you want to DM me, like you've seen something I post and you want more information about it, just DM me on there. You don't have to follow me. And yeah, I will catch you on the next one.